Okay, so my last video, I talked about Bill Murray and whatnot, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. But so I was sitting at work today, and I thought of Easter Sunday this year is actually on April 5th, which is 4-5 or 45, and then that made me remember, for whatever the reason, I remember that there was a blood moon on April 4th, 4-4, and so we got 4-4 is the blood moon, and then the next day is Easter, which is 4-5 or 45, and February 18th is the 49th day of the year, and it is 45 days away from 4-4. Also, 4-4 is the 94th day of the year, so that is the 49 mirror. So it's 45 days away from its mirror. Just found that kind of interesting. Also, in my last video with Bill Murray, then I said that I noticed a pattern of some 67s, and when I looked up these blood moons here, I think I might have found some significance to it, I guess. So it says on here, the last two blood moon tetrads were from 1949 and 1950, and 1967 and 1968. I just find that kind of interesting, considering I just talked about Bill Murray and 67, and then 49 and 45 and 44 have all been connected with Valentine's Day, or Lupercalia. And I don't even remember all the references with Bill Murray in 67. I think he was the first person ever on David Letterman, and David Letterman 67. Bill Murray's dad died in 1967. His mom, I guess, here it says, died at 67 years old in 1988. Ghostbusters came out on 6-7. There was not a whole bunch, but I mean, I noticed a pattern of 67. But anyway, also, I got on here, there was a tweet that Bill Murray sent out on January 9th of 2015, and he said, "You could give me 67 years to do something, and I wouldn't do it until the night before." I mean, that's just kind of a weird number to throw out there. 67 years to do something. I mean, he's not 67 years old. He's not, why 67? So I just find that interesting. And then you had you had Ghostbusters 2, where the lady says that the end of the world is going to happen on Valentine's Day 2016, with Bill Murray being the little host or whatever. So, I don't know, kind of interesting that he says 67 years here. And then if you were born in 1967, in 2016, you would be 49 years old. So, I don't know what the significance is for sure, but it's definitely kind of all there. I'm trying to put it all together, so just throwing it out there. So, since it's been about Lupercalia and all that, I thought I was looking through the Bill Murray movies, and I found Fantastic Mr. Fox. And he's actually not the main character. George Clooney is, but we checked out this movie here, and it was actually based off of this book by the Roald Dahl guy. I don't even, how do you pronounce his name? But the book actually came out in 1970, which is 45 years ago. So this guy, I remember he wrote Matilda in 1988, and then so I kind of looked through here a little bit, but right here it says he's placed 16th on the list of 50 greatest British writers since 1945. And then that book came out 45 years ago. But you scroll down here, just a couple quick things, I guess. There's a book that he wrote in 1988 as well. So you have Matilda here, 1988. I made a video on that a long time ago, but it says his nonfiction books. He actually has one called Measles, A Dangerous Illness, that came out in 1988. Found that pretty interesting, considering the whole, they were trying to do the whole get vaccinated because of the measles thing there. Also, I guess his initials RD equal 22. This Fantastic Mr. Fox movie is all about 22s. It's surrounded with 22s and 2s. They actually made, it was the original 1970 book, and then they remade it in 1988, and then again in 1996, which is 88 is 8 years before 96, 69, 96 is a mirror of 69, and depending on the date, on the day, I guess, 69 would be 45 years ago. And the movie was adapted into film by Wes Anderson. I think I talked about him in the last video, but he is 45 years old, born in 69. Also May 1st. So anyway, this whole movie is about this fox who loves to steal chickens, and he basically screws up the whole town by stealing chickens from these main farmers, Bogus, Bunce, and Bean. Bogus adds to 59, Bunce adds to 45, and Bean adds to 22. And then before I get too farther, I want to point out that Fox actually adds up to 45 too. And then in the opening scene, they have the Davy Crockett song. That's the opening scene there. And Davy Crockett, if you go here and look, he died at age 49. Alright, and hopefully you can see this. It says 2 years later, and then in parentheses it says 12 fox years. So that means 6 fox years equals 1 human year. And then later on in the movie, he talks about how his dad died at 7.5 years old. So that would be 45 years old in human years. So just throwing that out there really quick. And because they literally mention 12 a million times in this movie. Everything's 12, and that's actually 2, because it's 2 human years. So he quits his job and starts a family and starts writing for the newspaper, and he opens up the paper, and it's on page 32 for one, and then it's also a Wednesday. And then it shows the actual date right here. I know it's really hard to see, but it does say May 5th, 2008. So it's Wednesday, May 5th, 2008. And May 5th I've talked about multiple times in previous videos dealing with 88 and whatnot. But also when I looked on the actual calendar, May 5th on 2008 was actually on a Monday, not really a Wednesday. So and Wednesday deals with 88 again, so that's probably why they threw it on the newspaper. Also, George Clooney is the main character there, and he plays Mr. F.F. Fox. So literally his initials are 666. Yeah, let's look at George Clooney here. Well, first off, he will be 54 this year, which is the 45-54 mirrors. Also, it says that he has advocated a resolution of the Darfur conflict. It even has a picture here with him and Obama discussing it or whatever. He got arrested even. But this conflict started on February 26th, 2003. Well, it says 12 years ago even, but February 26th is the first day of Lupercalia. Also, he's in a new movie coming out on May 22nd, 2015 called Tomorrowland. And his name's Frank even. That's what's even funnier. But Frank and Casey travel to a place somewhere in time and space only known as Tomorrowland. So they travel in time or whatever, and then it says Walt Disney Pictures originally announced the film under the working title 1952 until it was retitled. Really, because 1952, I just made a video on it about how it's 88 plus 88 after 1776, and Michael Jordan is 52, and 52 and 63 are the mirrors in the year or whatever, like 1963 is 52 years ago, 1952 is 63 years ago. Pretty weird they're going to call it that. And then it's about traveling in space and time or whatever. And then the young self of him in this movie is played by Thomas Robinson. And he literally got his start in acting because his brother was an actor, Bryce Robinson. And he was in the movies Marley and Me and Valentine's Day. So then he's tired of being poor, so he tells his wife that his dad died at 7.5 years old or whatever. I'll just play it right here so you can read it. And then I said 7.5 right here. Non-Fox years. So that means that his dad actually died at age 45, and he's 42 years old. So then they describe all the farmers. Bill Murray actually does. He's the badger, who they actually call B later on in the movie, which B is 2. And then all the farmers start with a B, so it's B, 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 2, 2, 2. And then the first guy, they talk about how he eats 12 chickens per day. And the second farmer, he's a goose liver guy or something, but they show his chalkboard here, and they have the bones. But you can definitely see the heart, like the hearts on I Pet Goat chalkboard as well. Then the cousin moves in, and he does yoga multiple times in the movie. But when he does yoga, he makes an infinity with his legs, the 8. And then he's jealous, and he says, double pneumonia, because he wants to know how long his cousin's going to live with him. So he says double pneumonia to his mom because that's what his dad has or whatever. So 2, I guess. And then right here, he's his lab partner that he loves or whatever is in love with his cousin, and he says magnesium, and because she's not paying attention. And magnesium has an atomic number of 12. So 12 is 2 in this movie. And then he asks for potassium. And potassium is represented by the symbol K. K is 11. 11 and 2, 22. And of course, the only character with a number on his shirt is number 8. They also mention wolf multiple times in this movie. And then at the very end, it has nothing to do with the movie at all. And at the very end, they actually see a wolf. And they respect him, they're like, yeah, power to the people kind of thing. But here, right there, he says, a wolf, what wolf, and all this. And it absolutely has nothing to do with anything in the movie except for at the very end where they're basically showing respect to the wolf. And also, he speaks Latin to the wolf, and he speaks Latin a bunch throughout the movie. And I'm pretty sure Latin is with Lupercalia. And I say that because it talks about its connection with ancient Greek, and then I think that they spoke Latin or whatever, so I could be wrong. I didn't do that much research into that, but I think they speak Latin. Then when they go to steal the chickens or whatnot, they have to get the dogs or whatever. So they feed the dogs these poisonous or drugged up blueberries. Blueberry is BB, and so the BB makes them fall asleep. That's what I'm getting out of it anyway. So the 88 puts us to sleep, keeps us trapped. I don't know. Then they're back at school, and they're playing this game called Whack-a-Ball or something. I have it written down. I just can't remember what it's called. Whack-Ball maybe. But look at the score here, 79 to 22. So 79 is the 22nd prime number, and then 22. It's also the 8th round or the 8th inning. And look at the time. It's even on the 4 and the 5, the 45. They even tell you that it's the 8th. I know you can't read it here, but it says, let me finish this 8th. And it's exactly at 22 minutes. And then he tells you how to play, and he says all this stuff and what you got to do. And then you divide by 9 at the end of it. So for one, 9 is 4 and 5 or 5 and 4. But also, 666 divided by 9 is 74, and I made that list of Yeshua, Lucifer, Jesus, Joshua. They all add up to 74. So 74 times 9 is actually 666, and that makes sense in a minute because they brag up his dad used to be the best whack bat player ever, and then his dad is the FFF, the 666. And then here it shows the plaque of when his dad was good at whack bat here. And it was from 68 to 71. And that makes sense if it goes by the way I was thinking, where Lupercalia, the whole stuff started in 2013. So this would be 2013, 2014, 2015, and then next year, his last year will be 2016. And I mean this 2013 because it's 45 years away from 2013, 45 years away from 2014, 45 from 2015. That's what I'm getting at. So this 71 would be 45 years away from 2016. And then, of course, right after that, the one girl that's in love with his cousin, Christopherson, brings this and cheers for him. It's just the K. So the 11, and then all these 22 references in this little scene here.